Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Brey Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House, presented by TireRack.com. I want to welcome Matt Edmonds of TireRack.com and his group. They've been great sponsors of both the TV and radio shows this year. And, folks, you're looking at the head coach of a 25-5 Notre Dame basketball team. Now, get this. Notre Dame has won 25 or more games 4 times in the last 8 seasons, including 2 of the last 3. It's only been done in the history of the program 6 times, and this guy's guided 4 of those seasons. And what a great bounce-back year you have had.
You know, it really has been, Jack. I remember talking at the banquet to all 17 of the people that were at the banquet that night about coming off the mat. You know, when we've been put on the mat here, we've been able to come off it, and I'm really proud of this group. You got to give a lot of credit to certainly our guests tonight and a little bit later, Pat Connaughton and Jaron Grant, for the leadership that they've provided, and then how our young guys have matured and grown up and really have belonged in the ACC. You know, one of my biggest concerns going into this league and then having a disappointing first season last year was, can we develop an identity in this league like we had in the Big East? And I think, you know, to come back and bounce back with this kind of season, a chance to win 14 league games. Jack, we're 7-2 on the road this year, which is really amazing. It's really powerful. You know, I like the fact that I think we're starting to get that feel from the ACC people that we did from the Big East. Like, okay, you know, they've got this thing in gear. So it's been a fun group. It's a low-maintenance group. You know, they know who they are. They police themselves. And we've got one last matter of business in the regular season. We want to send Connaughton Grant out on a win, because I don't know if we've had 2 seniors who meant more to our program and more to a season than these 2 young men.
And certainly right now that game is classified as a sellout. There's a ticket here, there's a ticket there. So if you're listening or you're here and you really want to go, please go check the ticket office, because you might be able to find a ticket. But thank goodness they are all sold out. And I will say this, if you have a ticket Saturday and you're busy, give it to somebody, because we need every seat filled, not only for a great team, but for really 2 of the best players who have ever played here and have certainly given this school everything they've got.
No question. And, you know, we're going to have a really good crowd. We need you there early, though, because, you know, Pat and Jaron deserve to have that place pretty full for the ceremony. There's going to be some really neat things we've done with the history of their careers and how they've done it together and how they've won together. And so, you know, get over here a little early and get your seat and watch the pregame ceremony. We've got a lot of family. I think the Connaughtons have taken over Michiana. Mm-hmm. You know, this is starting tonight.
It seems like they're all over by the bar.
You know, there must not have been any other seats, because that's right. Sue's very comfortable. I see him. Okay, yes. Yeah. Season tickets over there.
Yeah. So 3:30. Get there at 3:30 on Saturday.
Yes.
It's a 4:00 game, and you'll get to see it. I've seen some of the video. It's in the process of being put together. It really is good stuff. You know, you talked about the young guys, though. I mean, this team would not be in this position or have the potential to do some really great things without Jaron and Pat. So the question I've already been getting, it's the nature sports fans, oh no, what are we going to do next year? Well, last night, in a 71-59 victory at Louisville, your underclassmen scored 76% of your points.
Well, I think you guys will be good next year. I'm not coming back, but I'm going to be rooting like heck next year. You know, I'm going out with Connaughton and Grant. It's my senior night too. No. I mean, you look at how our young guys are developing, starting with Augustin Jackson and being able to get them confident in Italy. Certainly, B.J. Beecham with another year under his belt, another off season of work, will be even more ready. You know, Bonzi Colson's one of the really neat stories in college basketball second half of the season. The energy and lift he's given us off the bench. You know, so Steve Astoria, you know, nobody really talks about the guy, but of course last night Rozier really doesn't do anything because Steve Astoria's guarding him. And so, you know, we do, and you know, it's funny, this time of year I do start glancing ahead and thinking about next season a little bit. You start thinking about, okay, without Jaron and Pat, and in practice a couple times in the last week, I don't know if I did it subconsciously or whatever, I had them both out.
I noticed that.
I had them both out at one time, and I let it go for a while because I said, let me watch this a little bit, see how will we play next year, just to give a little look ahead. But certainly we want to ride out Pat Connaughton and Jaron Grant. As I mentioned to Jack before, I said, I don't know if we've ever had two guys that have earned their scholarships more than both of those young men, and we're thrilled that Pat will be our guest here tonight. And Pat's leadership and his voice, that it rotated to him to be the voice coming in a bounce-back situation, there was a lot of responsibility to do that, and man, has he delivered on the leadership front.
A little bit of breaking news earlier today involving two members of this team. Jaron Grant was today named as semifinalist for the Naismith Award as the nation's best basketball player. Now he's also a candidate for the Wooden, AP College Player of the Year, Oscar Robertson Trophy, Jerry West Award, and of course ACC Player of the Year. And it's going to be interesting to see if the Tobacco Road influence is overridden by some of your buddies such as Jim Boeheim, who believe that Jaron certainly should be Player of the Year. And he doesn't like it when I do this, but this guy today was named a semifinalist for the Naismith Coach of the Year award in the country. And that's
still thank you.
But it's nice to know. I mean, you even didn't want it when you won National Coach of the Year a few years ago. At first, you didn't even want the award around the office, but it's got to be there. It's important for people to see that.
Well, you know, anytime I've been in position for the Coach of the Year stuff, Big East or National, two things are consistent. I've had great leadership on those teams, and we've talked long and hard about Grant and Connaughton, and I have a great staff. I feel I have the best teachers in the business, and our program is about teaching and developing guys. But that's great for Jaron. It'll be interesting to see, you know, all the postseason honors and awards. But you know, the one thing about Jaron and Pat, and one of the reasons those guys came back was to win and to finish and to make a run in the NCAA tournament. And really, that's generated by Connaughton and Grant. It started with them back in June.
You know, it's amazing, too. This Notre Dame-Louisville series has become really one of the great series in all of college basketball. And there's such respect between these two programs and these two head coaches. And after the game last night, Rick Pitino said, look, we knew going into the season that even including Kentucky, that this would be our most difficult preparation of the year. That's high praise from a guy as a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah, and you know, he's a good friend, and we've had, you feel like you're a little bit of their rival because we've had such great games with them. Of course, last year we had a year off, but I thought last night that was a great game. That was a great college game, and we made the plays down the stretch and played fearlessly on the road. The atmosphere was great. But Louisville fans now, when I'm in Louisville recruiting or I run into them, they talk about our games. So I think it's neat that we're both in the ACC right now. You know, they're trying to fill in for a guard that they lost who was a really good player. I still think they got a shot to make some noise here in March. But we did a great job handling pressure. We were really good again, and we defended them, and we changed defenses a little bit, more than we ever have in a while, and it really helped us.
Hey, you touched earlier about just how powerful it is to be 7-2 in conference play on the road, and this is how powerful it is. Notre Dame had never before won more than 5 conference road games in the ACC or the Big East, and you've always been known as a pretty good road team. And here's another interesting little stat. Louisville is now 80-13 in their new Yum Center. It is a spectacular venue, and I did a little walking around during your shoot-around yesterday. It's got 2 giant bars on each side. You look at those stands underneath those stands. There's a bourbon bar on one side. There's a vodka bar on the other side. So if you wonder why they're loud, it's because they're all well-oiled for the game. Of those 13 losses that Louisville has over the last 5 years at home, Notre Dame has given them 2 of them in 3 tries.
We you know, that the Jaron and Pat were part of that double overtime one a couple years ago, so they had some success there. We actually were saying last night, I wouldn't mind being sent there for the first round of the NCAA tournament because we know the place, and of course we played there. I don't know if it'll work out that way, but you know, they're great games, they're great matchups, and anytime you can beat their program, I think it's an endorsement of your program. And we lock ourselves in the 3 slot now. We know we're playing at 9 o'clock in Greensboro next week. That's, you know, to be locked in that, we kind of know preparation-wise how to set up next week then.
You know, it's interesting, too. I read an article today that in terms of television ratings, Louisville is the #1 college basketball market in the country. So these are smart fans. But the amount of respect you get, even as intense as they are and loud as they are, they really respect Notre Dame, and there's a lot of Irish fans down there as well. So that's another reason why it'd be a great place for you to go. Yeah,
and we had a good turnout. We had a good turnout of our fans. We had a couple people come down, and I know the weather was bad getting back. It took us a while to get back, obviously. But you know what? The dynamic you have in that town after being there now is it's a good basketball town because you got a lot of Kentucky fans, too. So I don't know how many Kentucky fans, since we were stranded, I was in the hotel last night, said, "Hey, great win, way to put it on them," you know. And so there's that dynamic.
They don't like each other.
No, they don't, and there's that dynamic. But man, do they follow basketball, and they live it every day, 365 days a year.
You know, we didn't make a big deal out of this, and in past years we might have, but just how focused this team is. Really didn't say much. I mentioned it briefly in the pregame, but your team didn't even get down there. We didn't get to the hotel till 1 a.m. Wednesday morning because the flight out was delayed. And I know some folks saw Jaron and Zach at a high school game, and they started freaking out about what's going on. And then today didn't even leave there till about 3:30. But your team just went, we're delayed. Big deal. Let's just roll with it.
Yeah, and, you know, when you have travel situations like that, the worst thing is, as the leader, is to get everybody uptight and panic. And, you know, we'll get there. I mean, most of our guys don't go to bed till 1 a.m. anyways in the dorm. I mean, I was tired all day, but as long as I don't care about myself, as long as the young guys had good juice, and we did. We did. And today was tough because, you know, you're waiting to get out of there, and we were smart about practice today. We didn't do a whole lot physically, but we'll have a day to tune it up tomorrow. And we've played Clemson before, so the preparation isn't, you know, completely new. But we're in for a dogfight because the Clemson game down there was a flat-out dogfight. So they're really good. They guard you. They grind you up. And it's going to be a heck of a game Saturday.
Glad you got your energy back because we got a pile of questions for you.
I see that.
And we will get to those questions right after this first timeout.
Where's Connaughton? I want him to save me. I need him to get me off the hook.
He's got questions, too.
Is he here yet?
He's got questions, too.
Okay.
It's the Mike Brey Radio Show live from O'Rourke's Public House, presented by TireRack.com. We are back at O'Rourke's Public House, the Mike Brey Radio Show, presented by TireRack.com. And one of your new favorite fans, Jane Golden's here from Fenwick Island again. She can't get enough of this weather around here.
In Fenwick Island, all I know is they're getting hit hard back there.
Coach, many thanks for a great season. You, the coaching staff, and team are truly a class act. Best of luck in the ACC and NCAA, and maybe I will see you in the Final Four in Finns in Rehoboth.
That's a good spot. That's a good spot. That's a good spot.
You know things are going well when you get a lot of comments and no questions.
The way she set that up, I thought she was asking a question. Why? How come you don't play more zone at the end? You know, she buttered me up. I thought she was going to go for the juggler then.
Simon Rodriguez is here from South Bend. Coach, the players learned from you this season. What have you learned from your players? What I love about coaching here, we have intelligent guys. We have really sharp guys. And to give them some freedom to be themselves within our system has always been one of our great strengths. And this group has kind of developed its own personality with that freedom. I think we're tough. We're mentally and physically tough. You know, to go win 7 road games, and many of them where we're down or we're having to answer a run, you know, we never panic. And we've been a really poised group. I think that can really help us for later in March. Fans, I do want to point you to a feature we call Irish Connection on WatchND, one of our producers, photographers, Alan Wazalewski, did a heck of a job down in Louisville. While some of us were downstairs having a good time, he put together a great piece last night of locker room video, huddle video, and you can see at the beginning with Pat, he steps into the huddle after they do that little chant they do, and he said, you know what, I don't talk much, but before the season, I couldn't hear, we did this. He goes, if it was important then, it's got to be important now. If you don't agree with it, get out of the huddle. Now let's go out and get it done.
Yeah.
I mean, and they went out, and they did get it done. So watch that. I want to welcome all our viewers tonight on WatchND. I know we're running some video on WatchND. We got a monitor problem, little one, minor one here in O'Rourke, so we apologize that you can't see the highlights. But this guy's so handsome, you don't need video anyway. Sue from Boston is here. Sue, she's right over there. Coach, she's Pat's mom. Coach, in a conversation with another D1 basketball coach, he spoke extensively about the difficulties of dealing with phone calls from the parents of players. Should I have been calling you these past 4 years?
Well, you know, Sue never had to pick up the phone because her son always played. I couldn't take him out of the game.
Never missed a game. Never missed a game.
The only phone call she could have made was, could you give him some rest? Why do you play him 40 minutes and you wear him out? You know, we've been fortunate here. I mean, you know, I've been a father of an athlete, and parents are parents, but, you know, our parents, for the most part, have understood and been really supportive, and I know, you know, Pat's parents have been fabulous. They've been great.
Well, they're from Massachusetts. All people from Massachusetts.
I hope it's not their last radio show. I mean, they haven't missed any radio shows in a while. We'll have to get them back to visit next year.
Christian D. Gustafson is here from South Bend. Coach, how do you stay so young-looking? You look great after all these years.
Where's that guy? I'm buying him a drink.
It's Kirsten, female.
You know what? Winning helps. 20, I don't think I looked as good after 17 losses last year.
No, last year. You looked a little haggard last year.
I looked a little healthier. I looked a little healthier. You try and stay in shape and eat right. Don't eat with these guys late at night. And you know what, though? Doing this keeps you young.
Yeah.
Being around young people, you've got to be active. You're always competing, and just being around our guys is energizing.
Frank Ciccarelli's here from South Bend as tournament time approaches. How do you and your two outstanding seniors prepare the underclassmen to stay focused during the most important time of the year?
Yeah, I think that's something we need to start talking about probably on Monday. We got to get through this Clemson game, and we want to play well. And, we're locked in the 3 seed. Obviously, we can't do anything different for our seed in Greensboro. But we can still add to an NCAA tournament resume, and that was our focus last night, why it was important to us. That we can keep, solidifying our resume so our seed is good and strong and we get put in the right place. But I think on Monday we have plenty of time, since we don't play till Thursday night at 9, to kind of start to set the tone. And you know what? I think Pat and Jaron will do that well without any prompting from me, because that's been their style with this team. They have done things, and I haven't been. Those are great captains. They just take the initiative and do it. And when you have leadership like that, you always have a chance in March.
Jerry Liss is here again from South Bend. Coach, do you think ball movement is better now than back in January?
I think ball movement has been pretty good, even starting in Italy. There was something about this group. They move it. They understand it. There's never been an issue where you think a guy maybe is selfish or he forces something because he hadn't gotten a shot. We've had guys turn shots down. I get on guys for turning good shots down, and maybe we overpass sometimes. But no, we've had the ability to move that ball from early in putting this group together, and they've loved to do it. And I think when Jaron sets the tone of really moving it, all the other guys kind of get in the act.
Doug Buell's here from Michigan City. You often talk about the Italy trip. This team has so much chemistry. Would you do a trip like that again?
Yeah, no, there's no question. And it was such a key for us. And with the autonomy that you've heard, the 5 power conferences now eventually are going to govern themselves. The one every 4-year rule for a foreign tour is going to change. It's not going to be one every. We probably could go every year if we wanted. I would like to go every other year. I think it's great. It was great for our kids. I mean, we only had 3 guys that had ever been out of the United States, just from a cultural and educational standpoint. But to get the 10 days of practice and put your group together and develop, that's awesome. And I think every other year would be something I would shoot for. Now, if it's not a real cool place to go, I'm going to let the assistants do it.
Katie Williams here from Granger, right down in front. Coach, does this team remind you of the 2002-2003 team? Katie knows our team. We can tell you that much. She knows our program. We don't have a bigger fan out there. There are some similarities. It's funny. It's got some traits, really, of a bunch of teams that we've had. But, that's one that I would see some similarities there. And, I think how they've handled their business is a little bit like, Hansborough and Nash and that group of guys, too. They're not as old as that team, but they become as businesslike as that team. And what's impressive is we've got freshmen and sophomores acting that way, which makes you feel good for the future. One of those sophomores last night, and we didn't talk about the game last night as much as we normally do, in part because we're on the road so long. It seems like it was much further ago than last night. But Demetrius Jackson, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals. Dominant performance by him, and you need him to be that guy.
Yeah, and he needed one. He struggled a little bit. He struggled against Syracuse. He needed one. And, it's interesting. He's played better away than he has at home. And you know what? When you're a local guy and you're playing here in front of your people, none of us can relate to the expectations, and maybe as much as you want to diffuse it as a coach, there's a little more heat on him. And I respect how he's tried to fight through that, but we'd love to see. I told him, I said, you only got to play one more game at home Saturday. Everything else is away from the building, so keep it up. But he needed one like that, and man, was he clutch for us last night, Jack.
Paul Karkowitz here from South Bend. Has Bonzie Colson exceeded your expectations?
You know, he has a little bit now. With it's interesting because as we give him more, he just keeps delivering more. He has come such a long way, but he was always a competitor. You know, we were talking as a staff before we left. He still gets out of position on things, but because he plays so hard, he recovers and makes plays. He's fearless. He's unafraid. You know, 26 minutes was the most he's ever played. He was a little winded, but you know what? We played the two big guys together. The one thing that you've seen me do.
That was interesting.
Yeah, the one, and it was good. The one thing you've seen me do is get him on the floor more. How do I get him on the floor more than 18 minutes? And I think that's something we got to look at, because right now he's playing great for us, but he kind of energizes our guys. You know, he comes in, he gives us a great lift.
Career high 26 minutes, got you a career high 17 points, along with 9 rebounds. Didn't miss a shot. Again, the only shot that didn't go in, he got fouled on, and they were key buckets. So a great night for him. Gary Rivers is here, as always. And Gary's like me. He can be a little verbose. I'm going to edit down your comments a bit, Gary, but basically, Coach, you do have a special team. Let's make some noise in the tournaments, and I know that's the goal right now.
Yeah, we do. It's a group that can dream some big dreams, and I think they have probably starting when we put this thing together in June and through Italy, and, you know, when we beat Michigan State and Florida State before Christmas, I think it gave this group a little bit of confidence, like, hey, maybe we can do this thing, and got off to a great start in the ACC, and but we got a chance. There's no question about it. You know, you got one more regular season game. You want to play well, because we'd like to go to Greensboro playing well. The one thing about when you get to Greensboro, forget the NCAA tournament right now, you got a chance to hang a banner. You got a chance to cut nets down. You know, our program, because we were an independent, you could never cut nets down in any league situation. You had to win the whole thing. You know, and so that's kind of tough. I mean, we've not had it. The last time we could cut a net down was my first year. We won the West Division Championship. Right. So, you know, to hang a banner and be the ACC champions down there in Greensboro will be extremely powerful, and that'll be the thing we'll start talking about on Monday.
And you only get opportunities to do that kind of stuff if you have great leadership. And this team has gotten great leadership, especially from their sole captain, Pat Connaughton. He joins us next on the Mike Brey Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House. O'Rourke's Public House, presented by TireRack.com. Pat Connaughton, the captain, is here, and I think much of his family, although they're going to keep coming in. You've hired a train to bring everybody in from New England.
A shuttle.
Tell us, I mean, I don't want to get you in trouble, forget somebody, but who's here?
A lot of my aunts, a few cousins, my parents, obviously, who always show up. I'm very grateful for that, and more to come tomorrow.
You know, I asked you this during your senior TV interview, and it's still remarkable to me, and it's a stat that most people don't know. He's 6'5", leading three-point shooter, percentage-wise in the ACC. I mean, they keep wanting to give it to Anderson at Virginia because he's been out. He qualifies by 2 buckets, but he's the most prolific one in the league. But he's also the leading active career rebounder in the ACC. All those teams at 6'5". I mean, it's just an amazing indication of your want to. And I know you were surprised when I told you that.
Yeah, I didn't actually know that. But, you know, it's something that coaches always told me. If, you know, the shot's not falling, there's other ways to impact the game. And, you know, rebounding has been something that I've had a knack for ever since I came in.
You've coached a lot of great players. Just describe, if you had to describe, if I'm a scout calling you, how do you describe him?
Winner. Start with, he's a winner. And that's why 2 sports are really involved, are really interested in it, both baseball and basketball. You know, there was a maturity about Pat way beyond his years, even as a freshman. We had him in there, and he handled his business more like a senior when he was young, and, you know, whatever role, you know, we had him as a defender one year, you know, and then we're going to try this with Pat, and he did a little bit of everything. But a big-time winner, and I was really excited about his voice and his leadership being the tone in the locker room. I felt we had a chance to be really good starting with that. Yeah, we got Jaron back, all that. We needed all that. But his presence as our main voice helped me get through the summer thinking, okay, you know, with that, we're going to be right there at the end of the day. And he's delivered on every front. Been amazing how he's handled the young guys. And, you know, it's why we're excited about March.
Folks at home are watching. D just saw some of your highlights. We've got the monitors running here. I'm going to ask you for your favorite play, but I have a favorite Pat Connaughton play. And it involved a guy named Jabari Parker in Notre Dame's first ever ACC game, and we've got it on the monitor. You posterized the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. Just talk about that play.
It's something that you just got to have your head up and attack the rim. I think, Jay Billis is notorious for saying you make layups with your eyes, and I had no intention of making a layup on that play. It was kind of to show off the athletic ability a little bit that people may not have known I had.
Do you have a favorite play? Is that it?
Every play that helps us win is my favorite play.
I love the guy. I mean, and that's what your dad said,
You can't get him. He's good now.
I mean, second leading scorer on the team, 12.8, made it 3 in 20 consecutive points. Against Louisville, he's got 5 points because he doesn't care. I mean, his numbers could be much bigger. He really only does care about winning. Have you ever had a guy with this amount of talent that really never looked at his numbers?
Nobody with that amount of ability who's just totally given himself. Not in my 15 years here, and we've had a lot of guys that are really good and get into that territory, but he has just been so much about our team, and that's why last season hurt him maybe more than anybody. That's why there was a drive to come back. And, being around him through the spring and the off season, you felt, he's going to come back setting the tone in the locker room. We really got a shot at this thing. And he's delivered every day. Leadership is exhausting. When you are, the leader and he's playing 40 minutes a game and he's got to go get 12 rebounds and he's got to guard 7-1 guys and block them out, and then you got to lead. And then you got to take care of, hey, you may need to go talk to Beecham right now. You got to go talk to Jackson. Go get Augustus head straight. Get Bonzi confident. It's exhausting. I'll never forget Ryan Humphrey telling me that at the end of his senior. He said, Coach, I never knew. He said, it really is. But it comes very natural to him. And he does it. He knows how to talk to everybody on the team. He knows when to get on a guy, when to hug a guy. That's an art in itself.
And he's the only captain.
He's our only captain.
I think there's only been 4 since the late 80s that have had that responsibility. So you knew what it involved, and you knew it was up to the challenge.
Absolutely. There was no, with our staff when we thought about it. And you know what? As soon as he got back, he wasn't around us in the spring or the summer. He was pitching for Notre Dame, and then he was pitching for the Orioles. Once he got back and got involved with our practices for Italy, after the second day, it was like, okay, the ship is going the right way now. We got the right voice back in the gym. I didn't have to say as much. When you have great leadership, it takes a lot off the coach. Like they run the locker room. Him and Jaron helps them. They take care of stuff before it ever gets to me. And I value their opinion. I'll go to him and say, how long do you think we should practice today? What should I say to Demetrius? I mean, I want that feedback, and I trust. He's got his finger on the pulse every day.
Has it been hard, or have you really enjoyed it?
I've enjoyed it. I mean, there's not much not to enjoy with a 25-5 season. I think, to be honest, the way everyone's head is in the locker room, and like Coach said, obviously last year hurt, but with the guys coming back, I think their desire to win was through the roof. It was just something that you had to channel in the right direction and channel towards the correct things.
I know the education was really important to you, and you mentioned that to me, and I know last season left a sour taste in your mouth, but he had to make a call. Most guys in his position don't, because he's good at this other sport, which really he doesn't focus on as much as basketball, and because you were so honest, without getting too much into your stuff, I've read many articles where very conservatively you cost yourself hundreds of thousands, probably $500,000, because you weren't coy. You just said, look, I'm playing basketball here. You could have played it coy. You said, well, I don't know. Let's see. So, I mean, how did you come to that decision, and was that hard?
It actually wasn't that hard, with the support of my family, Coach Brey, Coach Aoki, the baseball team, the friends and teammates I have around me. It was something that, just came naturally in a sense. I think, what I desired to do and just, giving up on one sport before I tried it out before, I came back and, finished out this senior season strong was something that I wasn't willing to do at that point in time.
The Orioles have your rights, and they're happy about that. But I know in the back of your mind, and all he wants you focused on is the next game, and that's where you are focused. But you don't have in the back of your mind that when this run ends, hopefully in the first week of April, that ends your basketball career. You don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, the Orioles have my rights for 6 years, but contract-wise, I'm not under contract with them, so I'd have to figure that out. And, I'm open to try any options that present themselves.
Plenty of fan questions for Pat, and we'll get to those right after this timeout. The Mike Brey Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House. Back at O'Rourke's Public House, the Mike Brey Radio Show, special guest, Captain Pat Connaughton. And, the first question from Arlington, Mass., from Peter Matera and Brian Connors.
Look at your mom.
I'm sorry, Len. I finally got to come clean. His dad, Len's over there, and he has always submitted questions throughout these 4 years under an alias. And for a while, he was taking the first names of famous basketball coaches. And this year, he ran out of creativity. He got kind of lame. He was just picking names out, like Peter from Plymouth. I mean, who's Peter from Plymouth? But that's a good one, because when I said in the break, these two guys, Pat went, yeah. Well, how'd you get those questions? But here's the question from Peter, Brian, and Len. Is it true you've never beaten your father in 2-on-2 pickup?
It is true, and for a while I'd never beat him in horse either. He could shoot as well as he could play 2-on-2.
So at this point, is this just good family relations?
Yeah.
Or you haven't played for like 10 years?
Yeah, no. Once I beat him, I quit. I stopped playing against him. I beat him one time, and it was over.
Gary Rivers has a question for one of our more loyal fans, most loyal fans. Pat, you seem to really enjoy going in amongst the trees in the middle. What is it that makes you excel in these situations?
It's just desire to win. I think, when guys are a lot taller, a lot bigger, stronger, whatever it may be, it's more fun to go up and take the basketball away from them. It's more fun to go up and, dunk the ball. It's more fun to, just have them looking at you like you're some little 6'5" white guard, and you just grab the ball away from them.
Like Katie Williams here, and folks know that I always try to protect the guys so they can't get in trouble. But the Orioles already have your rights, so I'll ask this. She wants to know if you're thinking about entering the NBA draft.
Absolutely. Why not? I mean,
he's available.
Yeah. It's been a great college career, and I'd probably kick myself if I didn't at least give it a shot before I decided what was best.
Well, the great thing is he's going to be done with his eligibility, so he doesn't have to enter. He's eligible.
Yeah.
He just goes ahead and does it.
But he'll go down to the Portsmouth Invitational, in early April, which will be the first stop as far as working his way toward the NBA. And he and I have talked about that. So that's a stop after the season, after we play a lot of games.
Yeah.
Through April. Renee Buell from Michigan City here as always. Congratulations, Pat, on a phenomenal career here at Notre Dame. If you could play one-on-one basketball with any current college player, who would you choose?
Wow, one-on-one. To be honest, probably whoever wins Player of the Year, because they're a lot bigger than I am, so I think I could beat them on the perimeter.
Unless it's Jaron.
Oh, yeah, unless it's Jaron. Well, then I do it every single day, so it doesn't really matter. It would be a good contest.
There's Jaron's uncle right now, Horace Grant.
On NBA TV right now. Yeah. We'll get back to have Pat take his final shot at our fast break questions right after this timeout. We're back at the Mike Brey Radio Show. Pat Connaughton, our special guest, and he's had a lot of practice at these, so I don't know if I'll get the same answers or if he has new ones. Favorite all-time movie?
Bad Boys 2.
Okay. First car you ever drove?
Jeep Wrangler.
Was it hard to get Dad's car?
Very hard, especially because I got into an accident a few weeks after I got my license.
Really?
Yeah, that shut things down for a long time.
That's never good.
No.
Get up early or sleep in?
Sleep in because I don't have many classes anymore.
That's true. But you're going to get that degree?
Yes.
Business degree from the Mendoza College of Business?
Yes, I will.
The #1 business undergraduate school in America. So, it was very important to him, and apparently you're going to need it because you're going to have a lot of money to deal with.
I hope.
I know, and Sue and Len are hoping that too. Boston or Dropkick Murphys?
Dropkick Murphys.
Who is your role model?
Probably my mom and dad.
And that's a good answer since they're right there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's a sincere answer. I mean, this is, I mean, I've admired, Mom and Dad are here. I mean, they've come out here to support Pat, but they don't interfere at all with you or with him. They go to the games, and then they kind of go their separate ways for the most part. I mean, it's been – I don't know how they do it, but it's been perfect because I have been around, and they'll remain nameless over my years here, some player-father combinations, let's just say, didn't work out so well.
Yeah, that's just human nature. Now, they've been one of the neatest families. We're going to miss them. We're going to miss them. We really are.
They have an open invitation. Stay at my house, Massachusetts people. That'd be great. Just bring some jelly sticks from Dunkin' Donuts because they don't make those out here. One thing the public would be surprised to learn about you.
I've never had soda before.
Never.
Not one sip.
That's good because I drink it a lot. Enough said. Bruins, Celtics, Patriots, or Red Sox?
Ooh, I'm going to say Patriots just because I've lived through a pretty good dynasty.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
Well, the Red Sox haven't been too shabby either.
No, they haven't. They haven't.
He's not scarred like us older Boston fans. Favorite NBA player?
Steph Curry.
Favorite thing to do when relaxing?
Watch movies.
Favorite sport to play other than basketball or baseball?
Football.
Favorite part of practice?
5-on-5.
Worst part of practice?
The end.
Best part of your game?
Eddie has.
Shooting.
Part of your game you need to work on?
Dribbling.
Which is better, knocking down a long three, blocking a key shot, or grabbing a big rebound?
Grabbing a big rebound because it's been something I've been known to do, and Coach harps on me for it every day.
Yes, and we're glad you do it so well. Favorite class you've taken at Notre Dame?
I took a class with Chris Stevens here, and it was like business problem solving, and it related real world, like actual problems that we had to try to solve across campus.
City or place in the world you'd like to visit?
Australia.
One person you would like to meet?
Kevin Hart.
One thing you always hear from Coach Brey in practice?
We need you to rebound.
Our first money question, assistant coach, who was most like Coach Brey?
When I first came to Notre Dame, I thought it might be Coach Blanas, but then as I got older and more mature, I realized that it was definitely Coach Blanas.
Well, he's a fellow Stag. Nothing wrong with that.
Baby.
Player on the team most like you?
Jaron Grant.
Best nickname on the team and who has it?
Bonzi Colson, Big Baby.
Best player to room with on the road?
I've only roomed with one, so Jaron.
Okay. Toughest Notre Dame player to guard?
For me personally, I'd say Zach August.
Best defender on the team?
It's a tie.
Okay.
The four perimeter people that start on our starting lineup.
That's a good answer. It's one of the reasons why this is one of the best defensive teams Coach has had. Best leaper on the team?
Me.
Best dunker on the team?
Me, because last time we had a dunk contest, I won it.
His freshman year, that's the last time we did it.
Yeah.
Worst dunker on the team?
Bonzi, just because he doesn't make it look good.
He's got time.
Yeah, he does.
Best dresser on the team?
I'm going to say Zach.
Worst dresser on the team?
Steve Astoria. He goes out in college shirts and sweatpants. They don't match.
Everybody says that. Best singer on the team?
Bonzi likes to sing. He can sing a little bit. He's got a little vocal cords.
Multi-talented.
Yeah.
Worst singer on the team?
Me, and I was in men's chorus for 3 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's something nobody knew about you.
Yeah, it's something I don't want people to know about me.
No, and we don't. I wish we had more time. I'd have him sing something. Best comedian on the team?
That's a tough one. I get a kick out of Eric Katenda. I think he's very funny.
Okay. And finally, free throw contest. Who wins, you or Coach Brey?
Well, for 3 years I've won, but I'm going to give this one to Coach Brey. My going away present.
And that will do it for our Fast Break segment. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this timeout. We're back for our final segment of the year on the Mike Brey Radio Show. Big game Saturday at Clemson. You want to keep the momentum. It's not a must game, but you want to keep playing at the level. How are you going to approach both that game and pregame? You're pretty focused, but I imagine you and Len might have a Kleenex or something or won't look at each other. I mean, what's it going to be like for you to walk out with your folks?
It's going to be awesome. I don't think I'll need a Kleenex, and I know my father won't need a Kleenex because he's always told me there's no crying in sports. So I'm going to hold him to that standard on Saturday.
The pressure's on. Dads always say that.
My mom might be a different story. You might have to carry her off the floor, or else she won't leave to let the game start. But it'll be great. It'll be something that it'll be fun to not only share with your family and parents, but also with your teammates and Jaron especially, and most importantly, get the win.
One of your big road wins, Clemson, a very good defensive team. They're probably out of the NCAA tournament picture, but certainly NIT, and you never know what happens. They're going to be kind of desperate for a win.
Yeah, they're going to come in here. It'd be a great win for them at the end of the year. Again, they are keeping their postseason hopes alive, where the NCAA tournament, they probably have to go on and win in Greensboro, but they want to play in the NIT. They played the NIT last year and got to New York. They've been known it's a slower pace. They grind you a little bit. It's the Virginia pace, and they really guard you in the half court. It was a heck of a game down there, and we had to make a late surge to kind of steal a road win.
Your final chance to see this team in Purcell Pavilion this year. You got tickets. Come on out and send these guys out the right way. Coach, thank you so much. Thanks. 4 years and a great 5 more weeks, I'm hoping.
Thank
you for coming out. We'll be back
Pat.
next year. Until then, good night from O'Rourke's and go Irish.